Welcome to Restart at Any Age. I'm Susan Douglas, coming to you from the studio at Chez Serendip in beautiful Scots Valley. Chez Serendip is a non-profit creative sanctuary set on 6 acres in the Santa Cruz Mountains, where artists, healers, builders and dreamers gather to make a more beautiful world. Through music, wellness and community, the Chez Serendip Foundation opens its gardens, its stages and its studios as an artist incubator with sliding scale programming that keeps creativity within reach. Find them at chezserendip.org, CHEZSERENDIP.org, and on Instagram at Chez Serendip. Today, I'm excited to welcome Damaris Devito, a woman whose life shows that it's never too late to rediscover your voice, literally and figuratively. From training at the legendary Fame School and building a career in speech-language pathology in Bay Area theatre to navigating an unexpected divorce and finding healing through singing. She's now retired early at 59 and happier than ever, performing in restaurants, wineries and beyond. Welcome to the show, Damaris. You've had a rich and evolving creative life. Can you start by telling us a bit about where you were born and what first drew you to the performing arts?
Of course. But first, I might add that having heard you describe me in that way is so heartwarming because that wasn't a description 2 years ago of who I was. So this is lovely to hear myself back at me.
Yes.
It almost makes me want to tear up.
Oh, well,
so
I'm glad we're in this place to be able to discuss it.
Exactly.
That's wonderful.
It's also serendipitous that we should be right outside of Chez Serendip because it's an oasis. It truly is beautiful.
Yeah.
A beautiful space. So a little bit about me, quite contrary to our surroundings right now. I'm from New York and I'm second generation Puerto Rican.
Okay.
2 parents that came to the States when they were in their teens and then married and then they divorced and got married very young. And my mom had two girls, my sister and myself. And we lived in New York all the while, and I was very motivated by some of the plays and the artists that my mom would expose us to on TV and in theater, which was so accessible back then in New York. And I had Liza Minnelli as my oh my gosh, she was just such a captivating artist on stage. To me, she just felt like she had no abandon.
Well, absolutely.
No inhibition.
Judy Garland's daughter. I mean,
absolutely.
Absolutely. I agree.
And the cutest little style, which I kind of, for your listeners, I would love to have, but I'm close.
Yeah.
and Barbara Streisand.
Right.
Those two.
Yeah, 2 powerful performers.
I loved being in the middle of the living room, my grandfather's hat in the center, and I would do a little karaoke style. I was maybe 6 or 7. Love that. Yeah. And then eventually my sister had told me that you could audition for the Fame School. Back then it wasn't called Fame, it was just performing arts, and it was in the city, and where we lived at the time, it wasn't that far, but it was going to be a little bit of a train ride for me. So I went ahead and I did that. And I didn't get an acceptance letter. And so I almost ended up at a all-girls school, vocational school for high school.
Yes.
And the second day of orientation at that all-girls school, I came home and I found a letter that said I was accepted to the performing arts school.
Oh, wow.
For drama.
What a thrill.
So imagine the trajectory.
Yes.
So different. So I went in and I had a very warm welcoming with a couple of other students who were also on that last list, if you will, that came in a day after orientation. And my life completely changed after that. Aside from having made beautiful friends, which I am still with today, 40 years later. Yeah. It was an opportunity to see not only the diversity, which you have quite a bit of in New York City, but the diversity very close at hand. I mean, going to people's homes and cultures of different food and religion and all the like that I would have never, in the circles that we had in our home, would have never been exposed to.
Great education right there.
It was.
Let alone, the real education.
Exactly. But sadly, this face was not a face that you commonly saw on TV or on screen, in fact. But I managed through a friend of mine in high school. She had a mom who was a manager. Mm-hmm. And so she took me on. And then I got an agent, and that agent sent me out. But here's the kicker: they didn't have a file for me. They didn't know what to put me under. So they placed me under the girl next door. Oh. The girl next door, in which I was just going out to do. Oh my gosh, so many. Daytime soaps. Yeah. I was the girl that walked across. I was the girl that would open the scene. I was the girl on the phone in the background. Never a principal player, but someone just enough to have one line and be in the background long enough to notice. Right.
Let's talk first about the Fame School. I mean, what a famous school! I mean, that movie, when was it, in the 80s, I believe?
Yes.
And my gosh, that was so played all the theaters, and that song just took over the charts, didn't it?
Yes.
Oh my gosh! I mean, it's so well known.
It was well known, and I hear it, and I remember that time. I remember the energy, and I have to say that, well, of course, at the end of the movie where everybody's dancing down 46th Street, which is where the school existed,
right?
We didn't do that in particular, but we did have that energy that allowed us to be, by the very name of the school, out in front of it doing outlandish things that I don't know necessarily if other high schoolers were doing at that time. I mean, we were in the belly of 42nd Street.
Yes.
So imagine just the lights that were always on, the constant turnover of people, the cars and everything. So you just got kind of lost in that madness, but it was a safe madness then. Yes. It wasn't so crazy as it is today.
Yeah. I mean, 42nd Street, there's a show about that too. I mean, what an environment to be in.
It was very electric. I can say that now having lived in the Bay Area, which is far more mellow than back that time. But it's a good experience. I would never trade it for anything.
Absolutely. It sounds wonderful. And so you went in as one person and you came out as another, I would think.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. There is as we all have in high school, an opportunity to grow and learn about yourself. But the thing is that you don't actually know who you are. Mm-hmm. And here you're given, in drama, you're given so many opportunities to play different characters, much of which are older than yourself. Yeah. So you're presenting as a woman who's married, or perhaps someone who was an alcoholic, or maybe someone who had a terrible childhood. All of these different personas, which for me was what I absolutely needed at that time. I needed some other identity to morph into. That was just the nature of who I was. And I suspect a lot of the other friends that I had at the time who couldn't articulate that. Right. But why would you go into drama to begin with? Is to be able to evolve within the character of something else, because you then learn about other aspects that you in your own life learn. You have to do the background work. Right. And you also get to wear other clothes that you don't typically wear.
That's true.
And shoes and all the like. Yeah. So there's so much exploration, far greater than anything. And I have to circle back and say that why the arts is so important for kids, because you do have so much more to explore just by the very nature of taking on these different characters. Right. So drama is a very important experience in someone's life when they're growing into finding out who they are.
And the peers around you, did they kind of work with you, or did you all go into different directions?
They did. We for every school year, you had an opportunity to do scene work with your peers, and so you had X amount of weeks you worked on a particular play or a scene from a play, and you got to learn about your peers throughout those times. And for all the reunions I've had over the years, and some of some of those peers that I had that I get to see today, when we say, remember that scene that we did with da 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 da, and then we'll have a good laugh about it, because you look back at it and you realize how inexperienced you were at life then versus how you feel about it now. So it's a good reflection.
Yes, absolutely. So what happened then at that point? Because you were going out, you were taking different jobs, and as the girl next door. And so where did it go from there?
Well, it didn't go anywhere. And I'm sorry, I should have circled back to that to say that because of the unlikeliness of seeing my face on TV, the jobs that I was going out with were far and few in between. I wasn't doing a lot of bookings. I was doing some commercial work, but it wasn't really enough to sustain me. Right. But I did get into SAG, Screen Actors Guild, and an AFTRA at that time. But again, wasn't enough. And so after 3 years of doing this, which was pretty gracious on my parents' part because I didn't go to college, I pursued this immediately afterwards. They both sat me down and said, okay, it's time. It's time. And I said, no. And I went kicking and screaming on to college. Oh, in fact, my mom took me to a counselor. I'll call it a counselor, a therapist. And we took some tests only to find out that it was the career of my choice suited best for me was speech pathology or travel agent. Yeah,
I was wondering how that's diverse.
Wait a minute. How did that come to be? Well, the irony is that my mom, or not irony, or the luck actually of her inquisitiveness, she asked how much salary does the speech therapist make, and it was exceedingly more than the travel agent, and so she said that's what she's going to take.
That was pretty wise.
She was wise. She was wise, and she always emphasized the fact that I want you to be fully independent. I do not want you to marry for security or finances or any of the like. So she wanted to suit me up.
Yeah, well, good for her. Yeah. Good for her. That was absolutely the right thing to think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. So tell us about speech pathology. What does that do? How does it function?
It's a beautiful career, even today, even with AI. I think it's still a career worth pursuing because of the interactions that you have with children. In my particular case, I loved hearing loss and anything having to do with hearing aids or cochlear implants. That's what I did my clinical final year in my master's program at St. John's University. That's where I went. And before then, my undergrad was at Queen's College.
Okay, so St. John's is in New York?
Yes, they're both in New York, and great schools for that particular field, and I suspect still today.
Right.
And then... So my clinical final year being in and with hearing aids and cochlear implants, and I was at the League for the Hard of Hearing. Great place to do a clinical final year back then. And I was within a group of other very seasoned therapists that were teaching me how to not just teach them the best speech that they could acquire, but cognition, the pragmatics, all of the things that by and large are very stilted when you have a hearing loss until you're fully amplified. And at that time, it was not at this newborn age that you hear now. Back then, it would take a couple of months before you had hearing aids on an infant, or even the newborn screening didn't exist then either. So there was a lack of early intervention during that time. But with that said, we treated the entire child, the family. We got the family involved in therapy, and so it wasn't treating the child on an island. And that was something that I appreciated and also took throughout the years moving forward in my career, all the way up until more recently, where I had been in another school that also focused on hearing loss, and we treated the entire family. We had the family do the therapy. We had family watch once a week. I was in a fishbowl every day. I had parents outside watching and listening, and then eventually joining me in the therapy piece. But this field in speech doesn't only treat that. We treat stuttering and auditory processing. There's certainly lots to be said about autism, and there's so many threads
Yes.
to autism.
Yes.
It's not just this blanket diagnosis. There are other aspects of it that can be treated. So it really has a very broad ability to treat so many disabilities. And you can do it in a hospital, you can do it in a school, you could do it privately. I've even heard of some therapists being, luckily enough, in some of the most remote countries because the families don't have the ability to travel into the center of city, and so they do that. And also on Zoom's made it possible for us to treat quite a few children.
Whole new market again.
And during the pandemic, I did quite a bit of Zoom.
Yes, I bet.
And I got to see how my children live day to day.
Yes.
Some of it very surprising.
Oh.
Yeah, very surprising.
Surprising in a good way?
Both surprising in a good way, surprising in a not so good way. And that's where you have to take a step back, because it can be intrusive if you're making recommendations by what you see on Zoom. That kind of crosses a boundary.
Yeah.
So you do the best that you can in that regard.
Okay, and it's interesting you mentioned autism, because it's definitely been on the increase, hasn't it?
It has.
Yeah.
It has, and I don't really know what or why that is in the Bay Area, why we have more of children with autism.
It's not only Bay Area, surely it's nationwide.
Oh, yes, it's nationwide. But I think here's what I will say about autism, aside from it being, some might say a disability, some might say a blessing. There's so many beautiful characteristics that I have found with autism, which I find near and dear to my heart, aside from listening and hearing loss. Because they come with so many, and I shouldn't say they, students with autism have characteristics that cannot be explained to anyone else unless you know them well. And when you come to know them well, then you really appreciate the diversity of who they are and embrace just the overall special characteristics. And you really become a champion for them, because once you realize how they think, that is certainly different than how we think, you come to understand that sometimes they are better off, or how they think is, I don't know that I'm framing this in a way that makes people connect. I don't want anyone to say, oh, he has autism, and have that womp womp feeling.
Yeah. He
has autism, and that is something to celebrate. Because until you work with them, you realize there's some real beautiful characteristics that they can bring forth. And some of the worries that we carry day to day, the neurotypical kind, they don't have. And we're trying to help them understand that. But in essence, we're taking away something and adding something to their lives that they don't necessarily need.
Interesting.
I struggle with parents who say to me, he's in middle school and he doesn't have a lot of friends and he likes to stay by himself and he does XYZ together. I said, you know what? There's going to be a time where he's going to find his people. And we, as just neurotypical kind, we struggle too finding our people as well. We're just better at hiding it, maybe navigating some parts of it. Yeah. But once they are in that world and they found what they love and they obsess over it, they're pretty, for the most part, happy. They can be very happy with what they've connected with. Yeah. And they may not have other people to connect that with them. Yes. But by and large, they've found some things that make them happy before we ever do.
Yes. Interesting. Yes.
And so why do we want to then morph them to look more like us when we know already we're struggling to find what makes us happy too? So just because their obsession is unique, I guess is what I'm saying, that they should have other things that they enjoy. I don't necessarily believe that's true.
So in actual fact, a lot of the noise is blocked out, I would think.
They become pretty hyper-focused on what it is that they enjoy. Right. When it gets in the way of doing activities of daily living, I can certainly get behind that. Yeah. I understand that there needs to be some negotiation in that. But parents who are concerned about this is all he loves, this is all that he obsesses over, this is all that he wants. For a time, yes, and eventually that will outgrow itself. But in the meantime, I think it should be something you embrace, that he found something that he loves.
Mm.
I would sooner, wouldn't you? I mean, perhaps this is not a question I can pose to you, but to the greater good of everyone, if you found something that truly brings you joy, why would you want that to be substituted by something that someone else thinks you should be doing?
This is a wonderful perspective, I tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So work with it. Instead of having him change it or her change it, you work with it.
Mm.
Have it be something that you can see the beauty of, that you can see why volcanoes are such this magical place that my son or my daughter has found their day-to-day experiences in. Or I had a student who was completely obsessed with the satellite system and all the constellations. Those are beautiful things that eventually will serve them. But for the moment, when they're young,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great place for them to be.
This is a great perspective, I have to say. Yeah. So, did you find yourself reverting to drama when you were interacting? Did you kind of realize the actress came into play?
Are you watching me, Susan? I know you are. I don't think choosing speech pathology, although it was through my mom's hand, I think the universe had some divine
Right.
connection with bringing that to the table.
Yeah.
Because I've often found a lot of speech therapists have also had a background in drama.
Oh.
They do mix. And I think for you to sit across a little boy or little girl who's just starting out, early intervention, you have to be bigger than life.
Yes.
It's almost like going to Disney every day and putting on a costume that
Right.
you don't actually put on.
Yeah.
But you have to have them buy in.
Yes, of
Buy
course.
into
Yes.
to the
entertain
therapy.
them. Yeah. Attract
Right.
them.
And have them
Yeah.
come in. And it's not only about intriguing their minds and cognitively making them more curious about life. The first step is for having them trust you.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that trust is getting down to their level of understanding of what is great and fun and bigger than life, and finding an insect and making the biggest woohoo out of it, or
Yeah.
finding a little a leaf that blows across the table and let's find out where it's going to go, give it life, and
Right.
all those incidentals that you shouldn't have to think too hard about.
Right.
They should just be instinctively in your body. And so sometimes that means just reverting to that unabandonment,
Mm-hmm.
not being afraid to make a fool out of yourself. And that is what drama is about.
Right.
Just,
Exactly. You've got to put yourself in front of people
just
and not worry about it.
yourself across the room. And I remember those early, which I hated at the time. It was just so cringeworthy when they would ask us, okay, be the monkey, be the ice cream, be the sailboat on the ocean.
So you were.
And you were. But here's the thing, Susan, being in a world where, you have to be so conscientious about your body, keeping your legs together, keeping your arms together. Don't talk too big with your arms up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Don't, my mom would say, don't laugh so hard. It shows too much of your gums. All of these things. Okay, and then you go in high school and you're being asked to be a lion, walk like a giraffe, or do something like this, take an inanimate object and be that object.
Is that method?
Yes.
Yes.
It was awful. It was awful for me. I just felt like everyone was watching me. I was doing it incorrectly. I didn't have this natural tendency to move in my body. And I love dancing. But this was a whole other animal. I mean, no pun intended. But to walk across the room in front of your peers and take that on, some kids were just great at it.
Yeah.
Like this. They'd go across and take it on, and we'd go, wow, that was so great.
Yeah.
And then you do it, and oh my gosh, I remember just feeling so out of place. But it was a skill. Clearly, I got to work on it. And look, it served me so well in my career that I could be the animal and roll around on the ground and be the snake, or make the choo-choo sound and have that rev in the body. So there is the buy-in. There's the buy-in that attracts the child.
Yes, indeed. You have to think of all these factors that it doesn't enter your mind initially, I would think.
No.
Yeah.
All those connections are beautiful connections that I've learned have served me in ways that, without really sitting down and thinking about it, nothing is random.
Right.
That's really all that it comes down to.
Yeah.
Nothing in life is random. You can always find something that relates back to you in your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I always say I have no regrets. I only did one thing that I regret. I had a diamond ring, and I sold the diamond ring instead of taking all the diamonds out. That was my biggest regret. But outside of that, I have no regrets.
That's not bad in the travel of life's experiences. Just that one regret.
Yeah, I know, huh? No, actually, I mean, I would really have to think hard for regrets. Yeah, because I learned, at least more recently, that you take lessons. You take lessons not from failures. You just take a lesson from life.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about perspective, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I'm certainly true to that person who finds the day where I'm just so downtrodden, or I beat myself up about doing something that I shouldn't have. But then eventually I'll kind of flip the script and say, okay, Damaris, you did what you did at the time because that was what felt right.
Yeah.
You can't go back and change it, so just make something
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah.
And say, okay, well, I guess if I get lost, for example, this happens to me quite often. If I make a wrong turn somewhere, I would think, well, God just didn't want me to go that way because I could have gotten hurt. He want me to go this way. I made a mistake. I'll just go back.
Yeah. It's a good way to put it.
It's all about timing.
Yeah.
And so that's how I relieve my consciousness.
Yes. So you lean on the universe a lot.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes.
Oh,
okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how did the universe guide you when you were in New York and you completed your course and you were already in practice?
Yes.
So how did it guide you then?
I was graduate school. Yes. Should we just skip ahead to graduate school? I'm
Sure.
done with speech therapy. I've done my or I'm about to embark on what was my clinical final year. I got through that. I got my license. I'm ready to move on, and I decide, New York, I'm done. I'm done with you.
Mm.
Not anything against New York. I just wanted a day or a week or a year where I wasn't consciously checking my environment.
But because of safety reasons? Or?
Safety reasons, energetically speaking. I just wanted to be calm. And I had traveled enough with my mom and independently of my mom to know that other countries, other cities had a different energy. Mm-hmm. That when I was there, I just felt more calm, more regulated, I guess. Mm-hmm. And in New York, being on the subway, being in the streets, being on a corner with 20 people waiting for the light to turn.
Right.
It's a different energy.
Yes, it totally is.
It is. And I had the good fortune of knowing even then, and I was just turning, oh my gosh, I was in my mid-20s, that somewhere else is better for me. So,
and you were a New Yorker.
I was a New Yorker through and through. Yeah. So I decided to visit California, San Francisco, the Bay Area, on 2 separate occasions. Found it to be lovely. And I thought, all right, I had $25,000 in my savings account. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to go. And I did.
What year was that?
That was 96.
96, okay.
96.
Yeah. It's changed since then, too.
Yeah, oh, yes, it has.
Yes.
I had the good fortune of being here during the .com, too. So I got to see the rise and fall of that. I was so unfortunate. But
hope you got some stocks in Apple at that point.
I knew people with Apple stock. That's about it.
Right, okay.
I knew people. Well, the school that I had been to, or I got a job right away after arriving in San Francisco, but it was in Redwood City, was a deaf and hard of hearing school, but it was an oral deaf school, so we taught them to speak and listen by way of listening. And it was a private school where parents just had to bring their child. There wasn't any busing to this school, so we got to meet a lot of parents who had the good fortune of not having to work at home. There wasn't anything working from home during that time.
Yeah.
And we found some parents that had very lucrative backgrounds and could stay and watch theater. They can stay and watch me do theater. Actually, in therapy. Yeah. It was a great opportunity to learn about parents and and their backgrounds and what they got to do as their day job.
Okay.
And so that's why I say I got to meet some parents who did have apple stock.
So did you hanker at any point to go back to acting?
In college, I did.
Yeah.
I did do it in college. It was an easy A. Undergrad, not graduate school. There was no time for that. No, actually, it wasn't until much, much later. I think I was maybe 7 years in the Bay Area after I had arrived and started doing theater. I was at my first theater was in Half Moon Bay, actually, as a coastal rep.
Yes.
I showed up for an audition, and I was the only person that showed up for that particular character, so I was a shoo-in. That was awesome. And then I had my second play at Hill Barn in Foster City.
Right.
And they were a lovely family. And when I say family, theater family, I did a couple of shows with them. And then I kept working my way further south, mostly because of partners, or my partner at the time. We were together, and so where he was living, it was just became evident to me that I had better stay in the Bay Area, because as the years progressed, the traffic going from the South Bay to North Bay became horrendous. It wasn't LA, but it was looking a little bit like it was going in that direction.
Yeah.
So I couldn't afford to put that much mileage and time, a lot of time on the road. So I got closer to home.
Okay. Why did you choose San Francisco over LA?
Good question. I thought there was something very, I don't know how to describe. There was something very beautiful about the big hills in San Francisco, and the lights and the bridge and Embarcadero Square, which is very young. The stadium wasn't there yet. Yeah. There was some real beauty in that area, so I chose that part of San Francisco. It just spoke to me. Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned a partner. Did this person then become your husband?
Yes.
Okay.
So then when I met my husband, he was living in San Jose, and I was mostly in the North Bay, Palo Alto.
Right.
And so I thought, well, I'm sacrificing time. I'm sacrificing gas and mileage and what have you. So I thought, well, I may not be doing as much in the North Bay and so far as theaters. And then eventually a lot of theaters started to close down as the years progressed. So there were only 2 theaters, 3 actually left. And that was the Pear Theater in Mountain View. The Stage, I did 1 show there in San Jose. And I did 2 shows at City Lights, also in San Jose. But that was pretty much where I was. Palo Alto was that was my second family.
Right.
They were great. Lucille Stern, Palo Alto players. I did quite a few shows with them.
Okay. Yeah. So life went on. You were practicing, as you say, and then you had children?
No, I didn't have children. I didn't get pregnant. Okay. And I was about 40 when I met my husband.
Right.
And I thought, well, I should probably not try this at 40. And he had 2 children.
Right.
And he did give me, he asked me, do you want? And I said, no. I figured, again, I was already in touch with, or at least aware enough of the universe. And I thought, well, if it hasn't happened, this means that I'm just not that person in this lifetime.
Had the 2 children, and did they live with you?
A part of the time. Part of the time. And I also want to add, too, that because of my career, having had so many children to serve, I must have served at least 5,000 in my career.
Wow.
I would think that those were like my children in essence.
Yes. That's a lot.
Yeah. It was quite a few kids.
Yeah. My goodness.
Children.
Yeah.
And not middle school age. I loved preschool and I loved high school. Mostly preschool. Preschool was that's my
dear. They're not.
They're darling. Yeah. They're darling. Yeah. Love them. And then high school, of course, you can't love as much, but
high school
close
can be a
enough.
bit tricky.
It's a little tricky with hormones and what have you, but I did come to feel very close to some of the children I served in high school, and also that aspect of their lives that they try to articulate to you about how difficult it is to navigate friends and school and home and all the things. And then I had the good fortune of remembering, I remember what that was like, and I can see why school might make you feel.
Yeah. And they're different generation. Are we talking about Gen Z or Gen Z?
Gen Z.
Yeah. So what do you find the difference in that generation is to the previous generation?
Oh, that's a big question. That's a whole other podcast. There's quite a bit of things you can say, because I think in the wake of having internet and phone and all the stimuli that comes with being online or with apps and everything, people become less interesting to that generation.
Right.
I always talk about this with other people, and I hope we're not digressing too much from why I'm here, but people have asked me, what do you miss about the 80s?
Right.
I say letter writing.
Yes.
I miss letter writing. I miss the anticipation. Anticipation is everything. If people only realize they'll never realize this. The kids don't realize this now. But the anticipation of shopping, when you're looking for something and you finally find it, you finally get it, and because you've searched every single store, or you've made those phone calls, or you brought a friend with you, help me find.
Yes. Life was tougher, right?
Yeah, life was tougher, but look at the exploration and all the gifts that come with that.
Right.
You don't have
achievements comes with that.
And so now the gratification, I notice even with my stepdaughters, the gratification is instantaneous. There is no waiting, and even for them, the waiting was painful.
Yes.
But in the waiting, there's character building.
Yeah.
In the waiting, you find other things to distract yourself from.
Right.
And you might not even find that the thing that you're anticipating is as interesting anymore, because you've, in the waiting, decided, well, you know what, I can't wait for this. I'm just going to make that.
Right, right.
So I think that there's we've lost that. We can't bring that back. The exploration, the instantaneousness of things, and the gratification that you find when you do find that, or that long anticipated phone call, or that letter, or whatever it is that's supposed to come in the mail that takes forever to arrive.
Right. It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's just gone.
Jeez. Yeah.
So I don't think I'll ever be able to explain that to a younger individual, but those of my age group, and they go, I remember that. Or even records, listening to songs, I remember putting a little tape deck next to the radio.
Yes.
So I take my favorite song, you know.
Right. Yeah. You don't search on Apple Library.
Yeah. And I take full advantage of those things. I'm not going to lie. The instantaneousness of what I have has made even the choices that I have today for myself that make me happy have been part of that. But I can still appreciate what it is, or what it was, to wait for those other things I mentioned.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so let's dive back into your life at that time. Then there was a sudden change, wasn't it? Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Sure, yes. And I'm going to quote Eckhart Tolle. Yeah, right? The Power of Now.
Yes.
And he says, there's no change. The seed doesn't become a seed until you've suffered. And I think that the suffering that I experienced, that was none other than the one that I experienced, was during my divorce. That was completely unexpected and bamboozled. Is that what you're referring to?
I am.
I did not see coming. And I'll just say I probably cried and heard myself cry in a way that I had never heard before. And that cry wasn't just about the marriage and the explosiveness of it. I think it was that I was holding so many other things that unconsciously that were unmet, that they all just exploded all at once. Like, I really thought that there was just a crack in my world.
When this happened. Yeah.
It was a crack and how would I recover? Now, for anyone who might be listening, that kind of crack that I'm talking about, that kind of pain, that kind of wail that when I cried I've never heard before, someone might think, oh, she probably thought about killing herself. It didn't feel like that.
No.
And that's why I don't know if this was the universe's intention. It didn't feel like that. It just felt like I had to fall apart for all of this gunk to come up to the surface,
right,
for me to meet it and to really do something with it.
A cleanse. So did you, can you talk about what exactly happened?
It was an affairs that I had eventually learned more about. It was just one in the beginning, but there were more as the divorce carried through. And I was stunned. I was completely stunned.
You had no idea?
No.
Not even at the subliminal level, and that's what buried? No.
I honestly can say, waking up in the morning and still being regarding this other person or each other in a way that felt respectful and loving.
Yes.
And I had no reason to feel I wasn't cared for.
Yeah.
I could still call and he would respond. I could still ask for things and he would follow through.
Yeah.
All of those things still maintain.
Right.
And I thought, I didn't even think. That's the thing. It's like I wasn't thinking. I just did the day to day, and I always found things that creatively made me feel connected to myself and connected to my job or connected to my friends. I'd throw a party or something like that, or have lunch or go with friends. I was happy, and he actually said that, and that bothered him that I was happy. In the wake of his unhappiness, unbeknownst to me, he didn't like that I was happy. So, we could have another podcast about the mechanics of that.
Right.
But I'm not responsible for your happiness, nor are you responsible for mine. And I didn't put that on him because I could find my own happiness. Right. I knew how to tap into that. And that is, I can only explain why I was unaware. Unaware. And he was very good. He was very good. And I don't want to say that in a way that sounds flippant, but he was very good at maintaining a visible, engaging partner in a marriage.
Yes.
And then being outside, I'm assuming, and engaging and charming and all the like outside of that.
So how did you find out? Did he admit anything?
I found a receipt. I found a receipt that for an item that clearly was not given to me.
Right.
And so then I tore apart the rest of the closet
and
to find out other evidence that supported that there was something else happening.
Gosh, that must have turned your body inside out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you know anything about me, it's this kind of being so animated, and then also being very animated in the wake of all this. I just had so much rage. I didn't know what to do with it.
Right.
It was. I'm going to remove a little bug.
Oh,
that's a little sweet character that wanted to be part of the podcast before it scares you.
As we're sitting outside.
As we're sitting outside, that might explain why. It's still beautiful. I didn't know what to do with that, and I would tell him when we were arguing at the first time that I had confronted him with it. I said, I just have so much rage. I don't know what to do with it.
Right.
And we were building, or we had just completed a trust, an actual trust.
Oh.
And I don't have to tell you, Susan. I couldn't. It was so incongruent. I just couldn't understand. How do you put this and this together? How does that?
Yeah.
How does this make sense?
Yeah.
My world just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense. And the part, now skipping ahead, we're almost two years. I try not to track it. It's not something I consciously track, but I know it's been 2 years at the very least, at minimum. There isn't anything that you can track. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
It just is. I cannot take responsibility for how he felt.
Yeah.
There are men who I know, for the few that I know, who could come right into a conversation and just be very frank and say, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I need.
Mm-hmm.
These are the circumstances, basically.
Yeah.
In a loving, supportive way, but you have some practice at
Mm-hmm.
that. He couldn't do it. He did it from the back, from every back door possible. And even then, it just was it was as slight as the wind, a breeze, I wasn't making those connections. And so he would be very emphatic about, I told you. I said, when did you tell me?
Right.
When did you, as if to say again, this is on me.
Right.
When did you explain this to me?
Mm-hmm.
So, not to relive that, because it also is very dysregulating for me, to go back into that body.
Yes, I'm sure.
If anybody knows about that, if you talk about a traumatic experience, and when you start to talk the details, your body becomes dysregulated again. I can only say if I there's no way that I could say, if I could go back in this life and do it all over again, I'm not going to tell you anything's changed. I made my choices with him because I was completely over the moon when I met him. He checked all of my boxes.
Right.
Looks, intelligence, education, all the things.
Yeah.
So, would I have made a different choice? Absolutely not. And I don't think he would have made a different choice either. We met each other when we did 15 years. I should probably say that. 15 years go by. And all the dynamics of marriage and parenting or step-parenting and all the life experiences, you change. But I didn't think that we changed so fundamentally that we wouldn't be together. I would talk about often, do you want to be cremated or do you want to be buried?
Right.
Where do you want to retire? I had that track. And I think all the while he had something else very different in his mind. Bravery, perhaps, courage comes to mind. The courage to have those conversations, the courage to even know that might be something that's different from what your partner wants.
Right.
I'm not giving him an out, by no means, but I am giving him, and anyone else who's listening, the opportunity to know that I know no one's perfect. I certainly am not perfect. But for as much as he said he loved me, I would hope that somehow something would have come to the surface to say, I need to be honest with her, instead of her finding out that I've lived this other life somewhere else.
Yes.
I don't think that not that he didn't love me enough, I don't think that has nothing to do with it. I just don't think that was part of his mechanics.
Right, I get it, yeah. Wasn't who he was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, has he learned from this, or can he take some lessons away from this as I have? I don't know.
Right.
All I can do is live the life that I have, and with that, that unfortunate rupture,
disastrous.
brought about some other things that needed to be healed, needed to come to the surface, as I said, and so it took a long time to get there. But eventually, I lived by myself. I cried every day. I cried every day. I cried about the uncertainty of my life and being my age, and that's when my age became almost a dilemma. Like, I just turned 50. What time? 55.
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to do this?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought forever we were going to be side by side in the ground. How does this happen?
Can you kind of itemize each step that you took?
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's walk through the steps.
I very, very abruptly left home.
Mm-hmm.
So I found out in March. I left in June. I moved to the other side of the house in the interim. I just started planning. I was very proactive in planning. Where am I going to live? What are my finances like? What am I going to do? I just became very action oriented. Told as many people as I could tell.
Mm-hmm.
Started gathering information as to how to pursue this divorce. We decided on mediation, and then I eventually found a place that I could live, and that wasn't going to be too much on my finances. And so I just collected only my belongings. I left most everything behind, and started living there in that apartment. And it was far enough from where I was, but close enough to work.
It's still San Francisco area?
No. This is South Bay, San Jose.
San Jose. Yeah.
San Jose.
Okay.
And I was still going to work. I was still going to work. I was still eating.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sleeping, but I was still eating, going to work, trying to maintain my gym routine.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to take myself too much off my course,
mm-hmm.
but the sleeping really got the best of me. So
Yeah.
I was dragging a lot, and I was drinking.
Ah.
I was having a drink or two almost every other day in those first 6 months, and it became very evident to me that I'm going to establish a habit here.
Mm.
It could be the furthest from anything my mother, because she ran a halfway house for detox.
Oh, did she?
Oh yes, she did.
Yeah.
She wasn't. She did not have any issues with alcohol or drugs, but she was in a neighborhood that clearly did, and so she had a community center that she was helping to open, and then she eventually opened up her own state-run facility.
Good for her.
With Lebanon Hospital in the Bronx.
Oh, yes.
So, and she was gone by this time. My mom had died, sadly, and my dad as well. So, there was no way I was going to allow this incident in my life, that's to put it lightly, event to make me an alcoholic. So I started writing down every day if I had it, and I would yellow it. I would yellow it out every day, and so I would look back at the last week and count how many yellows there were, and then make a conscious decision. Okay, I know the alcohol is helping me sleep. It's not giving me a good sleep, but I needed something to even me out. So then I started listening to Eckhart Tolle.
Mm-hmm.
I started taking longer walks around where I live, just walks, just constant walks.
Yeah.
And the walking would, I guess, maybe in retrospect, I'm thinking the walking would maybe calm me, maybe regulate me, because I was feeling so dysregulated.
Right.
And the anxiousness in my chest, the tightness in my chest, I always felt like my heart was in a box. I just couldn't breathe. It felt like an elephant was on my chest for so many months. And I could not get that feeling out. But the breathing, I remember that was something I tried. I tried everything.
Yeah.
So I can't honestly say one thing helped. But the breathing, the listening to meditation, the conscious walking, the walking without thinking, all of those things. It was a conglomerate of things that I felt helped me. But if someone asked me today, what one thing can you say did it? I would say time. Time. Definitely time.
It is time. A great healer, and that's for sure.
You can't take time lightly. It does.
Yeah. It
does help move you through things.
Yeah.
You cannot shortchange, and you can make all the excuses. I remember talking about my ex-husband to other people in a way that, in my mind, I thought would help me heal, but no, it was actually taking me further away, because it was putting more of the light on him and less of the light on me, and what I needed to do to become more in my body.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
but one thing you did was start to sing to yourself to soothe yourself? Correct?
That came much later.
That was
and I was going to segue to that, and that's where the change of my life began. Was I would just sort of just lie in my bed and just sort of sway, and I would find a song, whatever came to mind, and that seemed to do something that would change the shift. If you can imagine some of your most stressful days where you have so many things you need to do, and you get that tension.
Right.
It's not a headache, but just
I know what you're saying.
Frontal lobe tension.
Pressure.
That pressure.
Yeah.
That's what I had almost always, along with the tension in my chest. So the singing, because I had to think of the lyrics and I had to think of the melody, somehow lessen that tension that was happening here.
They do say singing's good for you.
Yeah, they do. Singing is, and I took it for granted that it wasn't really doing anything. And eventually it was, I kept singing, okay, sing. But it was mostly for me, and it didn't have, I wasn't looking for it to sound appealing to my ears. It was just as self-soothing.
Yes.
And then I had a friend, John, I told him, if there ever is a day where I'm super, super famous, I promise I will mention your name. He took me to what's called an open mic at a friend's house, Becky. And he said, why don't you come? There's lots of artists over there. They're mostly guitar players. You know, we sign up, they go up, they sing. It'll be great. We should meet. Very casual.
Yeah.
I said, okay, yeah, sure, we'll go. So we went to Becky's house. He was right. Lots of guitarists, lots of people singing all kinds of songs. I'm looking around. I didn't sign up. I didn't think anything of it. And someone said, you've got a song? As if I had been doing this. And I said, oh, no, me. No, I don't have a song. So he says, well, you're not going to sing? And I said, no, I don't have anything or anyone to sing with. I didn't prepare anything. And he says, well, just go up a cappella. You don't need to have someone play with you. And that was almost like going up naked. Are you kidding? I want my clothes on. Are you kidding? So, and I thought about it, and I tapped into what was my theater background. And I said, Damaris, you know what? Go up there. What do you have to lose? Yeah. So I went up there, and I remember singing Good Morning Heartbreak. It was Billie Holiday's song.
Oh, nice.
And I love that song. Yeah, Good Morning Heartache, which is essentially was my life then.
Can you
Good morning heartache.
Give us a little tune
You
there.
old gloomy sight. Good morning heartache. But we said goodbye last night. I tossed and turned until it seemed you had gone. But here you are with the dawn. Wish I'd forget you, but you're here to stay. Seems I've met you when my love went away. Now every day I start by saying to you, good morning heartache, what's new?
Very good. Wonderful. I mean, and you've got that voice down, I'll tell you.
Thank you. She's an amazing artist. So I sang that at the mic, very close quarters. It was someone's living room, essentially. And I made eye contact with people. And I know I evoked that pain. I brought it right up to the surface. And there, when I ended the song, there was a little lull. And then there was like...
Did it bring tears to you?
Almost. Almost.
Not at all.
Almost. Because I was raw. I was as raw as anything could be.
Yes.
And in that, there's, I guess, being a theater person as well, that rawness, it serves you. It heals. It is just, if you can reach that and put that out in front of people, because that's how you make connections, theatrically, spiritually, all the like. You have to, as much as you can. Because it comes back to you, right? So it healed me. That experience healed me. And that is when I thought, okay, I can't wait to go to the next open mic. And I did. And I kept going until I found someone that would play for me a song that I was fairly familiar with, and I kept doing the open mic, and that is like everything just.
Well, you were back in
cracked.
performance.
Yeah.
That's right. You were right back where you started.
I'm back.
Except this time it was vocal.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was vocal, and I didn't think anything of my vocals when I was doing straight plays. I did a couple of musicals that I had to audition vocally for, and they gave me some grace there because I don't have the power voice. I don't have that lyrical voice that can transcend beyond the stage into the audience. So I gave up on that. But I do have the voice for jazz, and I have the voice for bossa nova. Those I can tap into a lot more readily.
Right. And so you kept on going to the open mics. At this time, was theatre done with you?
Pretty much. I had 2 plays that I was doing in the wake of my actual divorce that no one was privy to. And I would come home to my tiny apartment, and I would feel so deflated. Oh my gosh. I was like, I don't even know why I'm doing this anymore. Why am I doing this? I asked myself, and I realized I was doing a lot of my theater because of the family I was in, and they championed that. And my ex certainly did. He enjoyed that. He enjoyed coming. When we first started dating, oh my gosh, he came to almost every show multiple times that I did. So that was lovely, and I for some reason thought it could still heal me, but it was very deflating and very difficult. And I got the biggest role of my theater career, unfortunately, at the time that I was divorced. So not having someone to show it to and celebrate that was also very
But you took the role?
I did.
What role was that?
It was King Liz at City Lights, and so I played the lead in a 2-act show where I was only off stage for 2 pages.
Wow.
I was on stage a good amount of time.
That's a lot of dialogue to remember.
Oh, yes, it was. Lots of dialogue. 13 clothing changes.
Whoa.
I had 2 dressers.
Yeah.
Today, if I did the role, I think I would have been immensely better than I was at the time. I was hurting. Then. And I didn't have the courage to admit to my peers and even the person who hired me for the role.
Yeah.
I didn't have that. But I did let the director know. Let the director know privately that I was going through this. So I was hoping to bring some of this to the table, but it was too soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
The enormity of the role, and also managing all the divorce tactics, if you will. That was, I was over my head.
So in comes singing in a big way. So how did it progress for you?
The singing progressed as I did. I think I was an infant at the time, and then taking baby steps at every level, taking just a little bit more courage to singing something that was either out of my range or perhaps with a person, because open mics you don't typically rehearse. You get maybe one cold, dry run outside of the restaurant or wherever it is, and then you go on stage. Yeah. So I didn't mind the humiliation, if you will, of not singing well, because I knew that was part of, as it was in theater for me, part of the course of action. You make kind of a lot of mistakes. Unfortunately, people have to listen to you make those mistakes, but you make them, and then you bond with other people throughout the process. I would readily refer them as my family. At all the open mics, the one that Three Flames, I have to mention them, Three Flames, Capers, and Bogies. Those 3 places are near and dear to my heart because they helped me heal, unbeknownst to them.
And then is that San Jose or?
All San Jose. All San Jose.
Yeah.
I stayed primarily in San Jose.
I see.
For obvious reasons. It's just between work and the beauty of where I am, where I live. It's perfect for me.
I see. So you were working throughout this whole time?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
But then you decided to retire?
Yeah, I did. I retired this year. And why? Oh, God. Because I finally figured out that with what I have left of my life, which I'm hoping is another 30 years.
Yeah. Easy.
While I can still, right?
Yeah.
While I can still move and groove and get in the car and take chances. I've done a lot of solo travel. I've been to 5 countries on my own for brief spurts of time. While I can do all these things and not feel like I have to have a partner or a girlfriend or someone close to me, I want to embrace this singing to the best of my ability, wherever that takes me. I really don't care. I just want to be able to say, like, today I'm excited, I'm going to practice, and maybe I'll get to sing somewhere later on, but today I'm going to practice. It's in the practicing that I still find something new about my skill set. And like everything, learning something new is always so self-gratifying to know that you can get better day to day at it. And I looked into my finances, and I should say looked, I mean with a fine-tooth comb and a magnifying glass.
And say, oh, that'll do.
Yes, and 50 million other experts to tell me you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
I decided to leave before the school year was over.
Oh, wow.
And the little caveat to that is that I had found in my travels, I went to Valencia, Spain, and I fell in love with it. And I was on the search for another country to move to just for the year and sing. And I found Valencia, came back, thought, okay, I got to do this before my lease is up. I got to go back. And I wanted to apply for a visa. And the office in San Francisco, every time I would pull up on the website, there wasn't any calendar dates available.
Right.
It would say, come back.
Sorry,
no dates available, come back.
Yeah.
And I did that for 2 months. I even set an alarm on my timer, my phone, to remind me to go in and look. I wasn't finding anything, and I thought, okay, clearly this is not the time. But as odd as life would have it, in the interim, other things started popping for me musically here. And I thought, well, I guess I'm not supposed to be there.
Right.
It doesn't really matter where I'm singing so long as I'm singing, right?
Yeah.
So I just took my hands off the wheel on that one. And now I'm completely satisfied with staying here in the Bay Area, not moving anywhere else.
Right.
I don't need to go to another country to sing. I'm here. And I found out the hard way that administrative work in another language is so much harder than it is. I don't want to do that anywhere else. I have a hard enough time doing it in English, much less in another country. So I'm going to stay here.
So how do you go about your singing life now? How does that operate?
How does it operate? So for a brief while, and very brief, I had a vocal coach who I don't see, but I have an app, and the app goes through a variety of different exercises for me, and so I can track my progress. I have a producer, David Scheibner, and he and I have recorded 2 songs. And so we're always working on songs that he either noodles on his guitar, and I will put lyrics to. We have a lot of unfinished songs that I hope we can get up and out to the public.
So this is an album?
You know what? I don't know. We haven't talked about an album. I don't know if it would necessarily be an album, but it's certainly enough for you or for me to say to you, Susan, I want to play at Shea Serendip. This is what I sound like, and give you a vast
that could turn into a reality.
Oh, that would be fantastic. But just the different genres of music, and that you can hear my voice. And say, okay, this is someone worth hiring. Right. Because I do love live performance and being connected with other people. I'll tell you another story after I finish this part. And then practicing every day and doing open mics. I don't do quite as much because A, it's time, and B, also I have now some gigs throughout the week that I don't have the luxury of just going to an open mic and being there for 3 hours and only having 2 songs to sing. So it doesn't, the practice isn't paying off, but I do get to see my friends I haven't seen in a while. So that's how I've been spending my days. But I got to sing I have a band. And that's the other thing that's kind of funny in this story. That's also kind of reaffirming about the universe saying this is where you need to be. I was at my 4th open mic at Three Flames on Meridian Avenue in Campbell.
Yes.
And I was up there singing, 2 songs, obviously. And then there was a band that had the opening set on that particular day. And the wife of the standing bass leaves me a note, which I still have on my refrigerator, a napkin note. It says, "You sound fabulous. We're looking for a vocalist. Would you like to be part of the band?" And we're as New Orleans band.
Oh, wow.
Oh, gosh. Susan, I'm fantastic.
What's the name?
Bass Swindler.
Okay.
So I looked at the note and I was like, are you kidding me? So I said, absolutely, I would love to do it. So I met them at a park, my first time meeting them, and all the musicians in the park, and we sang Summertime, but it was kind of like a salsa New Orleans beat to it. Sounded great. And some other songs, and I really crossed my fingers that they would say yes, and they did. They teased me a little bit and say, I don't know about this one. I don't know. It's like, oh, please, please, please. I didn't even need to say please. They said yes before I even started singing because they heard me on the stage. And so we did a little bit of rehearsing and then getting a little gig here and busking. I don't know if you know what busking is.
Yeah, of course.
Street performing.
Yeah.
I didn't know what busking was. We're going to busk on Tuesday. I was like, what is busking?
Yeah, Ed Sheeran started busking that way.
It was a word I did not know of. And so with the guys, we go out in Palo Alto on University Avenue and busk. We still do that today. But on occasion, we get to play when we're all available, because there are 5 of us, at Testarossa Winery.
Okay.
And we were just there this past weekend.
Yeah.
And we had a fabulous time. So much fun. And we sing so many great songs. And the guys who will also take on some songs to give my voice a break and do an instrumental version of Wonderful World or Midnight in Moscow or all of those songs.
Nice
yes,
numbers.
Really rich. Yeah, really rich numbers. Yeah. So that's a great fun. But I was going to say that first time ever, there was a family of 15 people celebrating their gathering, and my small alto busker speaker was facing the opposite direction of them. So they were giving me the signal that they couldn't hear my voice. They could hear me, but I sounded faint. So I said, oh, well, then I'm going to have to turn my speaker around. And I said, I'm going to sing to you. Right? But then one better, I took the mic off and I walked over to the table and I sang Autumn Leaves to them. And again, looked at each and every one of them as I was singing the song, and there were some people who diverted their eyes, like, no, don't sing to me, don't sing to me. It was a little boy too, like, oh my God, don't look at me.
What's this lady doing?
And I was just like, who is this lady? Exactly, who is she? But the thrill, again, the thrill of being able to sing to people and connect, I realized on that day, I was like, Damaris, this is what you want. Yeah. This is where you need to be.
So if people want to hire you, I suppose, you're for hire?
Yeah,
So where do they go?
Oh, I love it. So I'm on Instagram. I got back on Instagram. I was away from Instagram. I wasn't doing social media for quite a while, but now I'm on Instagram as Damaris Voce. So it's Damaris .VOCE.
Okay.
And there you can message me and you can see some of what I look like also. And I'm on TikTok as the same person, and you can also hear my voice on TikTok. I'm thinking about going live just to see what that sounds like or feels like on TikTok. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it. It's an idea. Yeah,
I'm sure it would be great because you're well versed now.
Thank you.
So you've actually been through a journey, haven't you? You know?
Yeah.
Quite a journey. So what would you say to somebody who was in that situation and all of a sudden realizing their life wasn't going to continue the way they thought it was, and now they have to just snap out of it and do something else? What do you say to them?
I refer to it as rebranding.
Right.
Because I was someone's wife, I was someone's stepmom, I was someone's therapist. So now is a time for rebranding. The way that I would re-explore that for their sake is help them recall something that doesn't involve making a living, doesn't involve making money. You can't rely on that entirely. But what is it that thrills you? Do you remember when you were a child? Do you remember when you were a teenager, a young adult? What was the thing that thrilled you and that moved you? Or what feels like the most careless thing in the world that you would like to do, but you know you don't have the time or the finances to do? And somehow create a time in which to add that to your day-to-day. I realize that not everyone has the fortunate experience of having enough of a savings to float and then be able to take up a new hobby, but to be able to then explore something that just shifts or moves the dial a little bit, that makes you feel that when you wake up in the morning, you can't wait to try again. Because really that's what it's about at this age, is being motivated to live for the day, not for the days in the future, but just that.
For the moment.
And that moment.
Yeah.
Something that excites you. And it has to be something that comes from within, not from another individual. Because you can't live a true life through the life of someone else. I think that's where we all kind of go astray. Not everyone stays the same. Not everything stays the same. I may not love singing for the rest of my life. Who knows?
Yeah.
But for the moment, this is something that's mine. No one can take away from me.
Yeah.
It's mine every day.
And that we will close with. Thank you so much, Damaris, for coming and telling your story to us.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it so much.
I enjoyed it immensely. Thank you so much for helping me kind of encapsulate all of this.
It was great. Really appreciate it.
Of course.
Thank you. This recording with Damaris was taken outside in the beautiful Chez Serendip garden. However, we did not realise the snap, crackles and pops that were going on in the recording, which are actually a bit uneditable. So sorry if it's spoiled in any way you're listening to this podcast. However, I do hope you've taken to heart Damaris's words. If you're in any kind of situation that she was in, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Life does go on, even though it may seem intolerable at the time. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening, and if you like, please say so. Bye-bye for now.